Well, I guess what do you have on the bad side of things in the West?
So in terms of the West, I'm going close to my heart on this one. The injury to Devin Booker is quite concerning. Obviously had was on par for an interesting performance with 31 points in the first half. But obviously hitting the hamstring, which is not the first time that he's had a hamstring injury, and he's already been ruled out for game 3 and 4. Um, I would worry. I would worry because the Suns are a nice, tightly knit group. But the Devin Booker absence in a playoff setting is more concerning than it is in a regular season setting. So his shot making, his scoring of about 25 a night, that is pivotal, right? Because in playoff games, in regular season you can coast and teams don't properly prepare for you. You can catch a couple of people on surprise with, your role players. In the playoffs, like, great, Booker's not here. Now we can do this to CP to pressure him a little bit more because we don't have to worry about Booker. And who else steps up? And obviously, as you and I are privately chatting, Cam Johnson, is a name in that category. I don't think he's the solution. I'd almost say that the way that we get through this is Chris Paul playing at an elevated level, and then you hope that it balances out when Devin Booker returns. But that's an optimistic approach. The last time he had a hamstring injury, he was out for a while. So that would be a really disappointing way for the season to kind of spiral down. One game in after looking pretty solid, it's disappointing.
Look, I thought about Devin Booker's injuries to as definitely something to talk about, but I don't. I'm probably not panicking as much as you are. I think he's slated to miss 2 games at the moment, and I think you guys have the depth to absorb that. Booker sits for a couple of games at this point. You have the next man up, whether that's Cam Johnson, Cam Payne's due for a big game at some point. You obviously got Jay Crowder still that can obviously get a few more minutes, a few more looks in that sort of situation. You guys have the pieces, and the good news, you guys are playing the Pelicans. I think it would be a huge upset even without Booker for them to get past you. I think at this point. So look, I haven't rated that as the bad thing in the West because I've actually picked the Utah Jazz. I'm like, how do you guys drop a game to the Mavs without Doncic? You guys are even if you somehow get past the Mavs, let's say Doncic does his hamstring again when he comes back that first game, and they basically play the whole series without him, and you get past Dallas. I don't think any of the other teams that you're going to face are going to be concerned. And I think I feel like a bit of a Utah hater here or a Donovan Mitchell hater, but he's their superstar. Okay, that's the point. And I swear every time I look at box scores, Utah loses, it looks like something like Mitchell shoots like 9 from 30 or 7 from 25, and he has that sort of game, and no one else steps up, and Gobert gets 5 shots. You've got this player that's like 7-3, and he gets 5 shots. Like, I'm not saying he's supposed to be a 20-point scorer, but you got to sort of utilize your pieces a little bit more, I think. And I think Utah have always had this sort of habit where, look, Mitchell gets going, everything goes well, they win a game, and then everything else, Mitchell doesn't get going, and he drops his head. I think if you sort of watch these games, you know already that body language isn't great. It's like, oh well, we should have won this game, we didn't. We're going now to game 3. Luka's probably coming back, and we're only tied 1-1. Okay, I don't think Utah are looking very good at this point, and that's my pick there.
Well, the internet sphere has really dissected Rudy Gobert, and the game that they lost, Maxi Kleber hitting 8 of 9 after walking into that matchup, I believe shooting for at least a month or two, 18% from three or 17% from three. He had a really rough stretch. And, it's the classic thing of drive it to the basket. Rudy Gobert, for some reason, can't stay planted at a 3-point line. So he will come and contest, and then there's a kick out every single time. He gets a lot of the flack, and that's been dissected. But you're totally right about the Donovan Mitchell thing. I think people look at him and think, he's the offensive superstar, so he's the one that can just leave, right? There's New York rumors that he's going to go to New York, but he needs to play better. If he's a superstar and he can put up 45, 50 points in a playoff game, which he's done in the past, then if that's what it takes to get past the Mavs right now, then you need to do it. Because this is not a team on paper that anyone will be concerned about losing to in the playoffs, and yet the Jazz are not even convincingly handing them. In game 1, they won by what, 6-8? It wasn't a
close. It was
thumb down.
close. Yeah.
It wasn't a thumb down. And then game 2 they lose by a similar margin, and there's no reason to think that game 3 wouldn't be any similar.